We are going to be sewing the six-piece dress we drafted in our previous video. Let's get started. I've cut out my pattern pieces on my fabric. So I've cut it on my fabric and I also cut out lining. So I'm going to be lining this dress as well. We are going to start by attaching our pocket to our dress. So I have my pocket bag pattern piece here, and I added 1.5 inch to the side seam and half an inch around the curve like this. So what I'm going to do is match. Remember, I add notches on my dress pattern. So I have my notch on my dress here, on my dress and on my dress. So I've matched the pocket notch. So the half inch that I added, half inch allowance that I added to my pocket, to my pocket bag like this. That's what I've notched on the top and on the bottom. So I've matched the notch on the pocket to the notch on the dress, notch on the pocket to the notch on the dress. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to sew by 1.5 inch. So go in. So from the edge, go in by 1.5 inch, pivot, come down, pivot, and come down again. After doing that, the next thing is I'm going to slash by 45-degree angle into the corners, into both corners here. The next thing we're going to do is to understitch. So understitch, remember the seam allowance will be facing the pocket bag. So we're going to understitch starting from where we sewed from. After understitching, I need to arrange the pocket like this to the wrong side. So our pocket bag is facing the wrong side right now. I'm just trying to arrange it this way. This is our wrong side. If I flip, this is what, flip to the right side. This is what it looks like on the right side, like this. So what we're going to do next is we're going to attach our second pocket bag. So this is my pocket bag here. This is my wrong side. The wrong side of my dress is facing me. So I'll attach my pocket bag like this, match it like this. So both pocket bags will be matching each other, and you use the notches to match each other. So I have one notch. I have the notches down here. So I'm going to use that to match and pin. Then I have another notch around this side somewhere. Yeah, I have another notch around here, notch to notch, match those and pin. And just pin one more time to hold everything together. So let me show you. This is the wrong side of my dress, and I've matched the other pocket bag. This is the wrong side. When I flip to the right side of my dress, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. This is the right side of the dress. So by the time we're done pressing, this is going to go in. So flipping back to the wrong side of the dress, this is my pocket bag. I'm going to sew from the end here by half an inch round, go around the pocket bag, up to the notch. The notch, I have a notch. I have two notches here, but the notch closest to the side seam. So go round and stop at this notch. This notch is my 1.5 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to go round and stop at that notch. So 1/2 inch seam allowance, sewing allowance. So I've done that, and of course I'm going to serge that rough edge. And this is what the dress looks like. And then when we sew the side seams together, the pockets would be hidden. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to attach this. This is my front. I'm going to attach this to my center front panel. So this is my front. This is my center front panel. I already attached the other side. So I'm going to attach this one to the other side, and then our front panels will be ready and good to go. This is our front panel. The front panel is ready and good to go. The next thing we're going to do is to attach our zipper to our back. So this is my center back panel. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to I want the length of my zipper to be 23 inches. So I've marked my zipper notch here. I've marked it here. I've marked it here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to sew by 1 inch sewing allowance down all the way down to my hem. After doing that, open up like this. The next thing is to take your zip like this. This is the right side of my zip facing me. This is the right side of my dress facing me. So I'm going to put my zip on my dress as if I'm ready, as if I'm done sewing the zip to the dress. Come up, open my zip, take my teeth, take the right side of my teeth. This is the right side facing me, and then I'm going to flip it to face the right side of my dress like this, and it's going to be matching the notch. Then I'll fold it like this. By the time we're done sewing, it's going to look like this. So I'm going to pin that down. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This is the right side of my zipper teeth facing me. I'm going to take that and match it to the right side of my dress like this. Like this, the notch, the zipper teeth is matching the notch on the dress. Then I'll pin. Just going to hold that in. Then I'll pin all the way down on both sides. So I'm going to pin all the way down to the end of my zipper notch, or sorry, to my zipper notch at the bottom like this. I'm going to test this to make sure I have pinned my dress properly, because sometimes you can be done sewing and then you realize that you didn't pin properly, like the zipper teeth is facing the wrong direction. Trust me, I've made this mistake several times. So that's why doing it like this would help you eliminate any form of mistake. So with me zipping it up, I can see that I've placed my zipper teeth correctly. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to come sew this down with full confidence, knowing that I have pinned my teeth, my zipper teeth to the right side of my dress. Actually, before we go and sew, I just realized something, because I'm going to be attaching my lining to my neckline by 1/2 inch. I need to move this the top of my zipper. I need to move it down, because if I bring it to the edge like this and I'm trying to sew by 1/2 inch, my needle would not be able to penetrate through the zipper teeth. I have to move the zipper tape like this by 1/2 inch. So like this. So that way when I'm sewing, it's able to go, my needle is able to go through without breaking any. I don't have to, my needle is not going to break if I pin it down like that. So I'm just going to move this to my zipper notch. This is down by 1/2 inch, but I'm just going to double check. So 1/2 inch from the zipper teeth up, from the zipper stopper up 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to pin that down. Do the same thing on the other side of my zipper as well. I've changed my zipper foot. I've changed my foot to my zipper foot, and then we'll start sewing. Back tack. I'm going to keep sewing past the notch, but this is on one side. This is on the zipper allowance. So I'm going to keep sewing down till like maybe 1/2 inch below our zipper notch at the bottom. This is what one side of our zip looks like. And one thing about sewing zipper is that you need to test it. So what do I mean by testing it? I'm going to show you that shortly. So what I mean by you need to test it is that you need to close the zipper to make sure that the zipper is not catching the dress, and you're able to zip up easily. So I'm testing and I see that my clothes or my dress is not being caught in my zipper teeth. So that is another trick or another tip for sewing your zipper. Sometimes you may be done sewing, and then when you want to zip up, you're not able to zip up because your dress is caught in your zipper teeth. But if you do it this way, where once you sew one side of the zipper, you test it to make sure there's nothing being caught, that would avoid any issues you may have at the end of the day. So let's sew the other side of our zipper. I've sewn the other side of the zipper and I've done my testing. Like, I've tested it. As you can see, it's zipping up really well. Nothing is being caught up anyway. So this is a good test for you to do before you finalize sewing your zipper. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to attach the side panels to my center back. I've joined my back panel pieces together. My back is ready. So this is my front here. Once I'm able to find my front. This is my front. So right side of my back to right side of my front, facing each other. I'm going to sew the shoulders. After sewing the shoulders, then I will join the side seams together. We are done sewing our dress. I know you cannot see it, obviously, but I've joined all the panel pieces together. My zipper is good. Everything is good. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to attach our sleeves. I already attached one sleeve and I'm going to show you how to attach the other sleeve. I'll attach my sleeves to my main body, my main fabric, and also do the same thing on the lining. So I already joined the lining panels together. My lining is good to go. I'm just going to attach my sleeves to my lining as well. So we're going to start with our body, our main fabric. So I have my sleeve, my cap sleeve here. So what I'm going to do is my seam, the seam on my sleeve, I'm going to match it right side to right side of my body, on my dress, the right side. So the armhole seam, I'm going to be matching those seams together. So before we continue, while sewing this other sleeve, I realized that my sleeve armhole was bigger than my dress armhole. And to solve that problem, what I did was that I ran a basting stitch around my cap, around the cap of my sleeve. So I ran the basting stitch from one notch to the other. Remember, I notched my sleeves. I have my front notch and I have my back notches. So I ran a basting stitch from one notch to the other. And what I'm going to do, so I'm not gathering it. I'm not doing a gathered sleeve. What I want to do is I want to fit this sleeve into my my dress armhole. So we're going to pin round. Then after pinning, we'll start sewing. But while sewing, I need to ease my dress armhole into my sleeve armhole. So I'm going to take my time to sew it. This is not something you rush to sew. It's not something you rush to sew. So I'm just going to flip my dress to the wrong side so that I'm able to pin my sleeves easily. And while pinning, I have a notch at the top of my sleeve, so at the cap of my sleeve. I have a notch there. I'm just going to find it. This is my notch. So I'm going to match that notch to my shoulder seam on my dress. So the shoulder seam on my dress, which is this one, I'm going to match it to the notch on my sleeve. Matching all these notches together would ensure that your sleeve is sitting well in your dress. So I'm just going to pin that, pin this side. And also one thing I forgot to note is that your sleeve, remember we have notches on our sleeves, your front sleeve should match with your front dress, and your back sleeve should match with your back dress. So that's why we added the notches. So the double notch shows that it's your back sleeve, the single notch shows that it's your front sleeve. So I've matched my back sleeve to my front, sorry, I've matched my front sleeve to my front dress and my back sleeve to my back dress. So now I'm going to start sewing. I'm going to start sewing from the um from the armhole seam, and then we'll go round half an inch. Our sewing allowance is half an inch. And when sewing this, you need to take your time, like I mentioned, because we're going to be easing. The sizes of the armhole and your sleeve are different, so you need to ease. So let's start sewing. So I've attached my sleeve to my bodies. So we're done attaching our sleeves to our main fabric. I'm going to do the same thing on my lining. I'm going to attach my sleeves on my lining, and then after doing that, I'm going to then attach my join my lining and my main garment together, and I'm going to show you that sewing process. All right, so we have our dress. The sleeves on our dress are done. This is the lining. The lining and the sleeves on my lining have been attached. So it's Sleeves on my lining have been attached. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be attaching our lining to our dress. Okay, so this is the right side of our dress, and I'm going to match it to the right side of my lining. So this is my back, right side of my lining. This is my zipper, my, sorry, not zipper, this is my center back. So I'll take it. So let me show that again. This is my dress, the right side of my lining. I'll take my zipper here, one zipper, match it right side to right side. So we're going to sew the lining to the zipper area first, then we'll go to the neckline, then the sleeves. So I'm just going to pin. So this is the zipper allowance area we're pinning. Pin all the way down, and I when I sewed my lining, I already closed the seam, the zipper center back seam. I already sewed it all the way down to the hem. So this is one side of my center back attached to my zipper area. Take the other side and attach it to the zipper area. The next thing I'm going to do is come to the machine and sew on my machine. So from my zipper teeth, 1/4 away. So 1/4 away from my zipper teeth, 1/4 away. That would prevent my lining from entering into my zipper teeth and preventing me from zipping up and down. So I'm going to sew 1/4 of an inch all the way down, all the way down to the bottom, to all the way down to where we stopped the zipper on our dress. I'm going to stop about 1 inch before the end of the zipper on my main bodice. We're coming to the end of where I stopped the zipper on my main dress, on my main fabric over here. So I'm going to stop my lining about 1 inch away from there. So around this side is where I'm going to stop sewing my lining. This is what it looks like on the inside. So I've sewn one part. This is what it looks like on the inside. So I'm going to make the other side. I'm going to sew the other side, and then we'll flip the lining. No, I'm going to make the other side of the zipper. Then we'll sew the neckline and flip the lining into the dress. All right, so I've attached my lining to my zipper on both sides. The next thing we're going to do is that we're going to sew our neckline. So neckline would be right side to right side, of course, of the lining and the dress. So I'm just going to pin that around. So we're going to start sewing our neckline. Sew from the center back to the other center back. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to fold this way over like this into our lining, so we're facing our lining. Fold like this. So this is what our garment looks like. Then we'll fold. So where my zipper is, can you see? I don't know if you can see my zipper coming out a little bit. I would fold like that, facing my lining, and then I'm going to sew. My seam allowance here is 1/2 inch, so I'm going to sew. My stopper is, this is my stopper here, so I want to make sure I'm not sewing over my stopper. So I'm going to sew from this point around by 1/2 inch seam allowance. We're coming towards the end of our sewing, and so we're going to do the same thing on the other side like we did at the beginning, or on the other center back. So we'll fold like this, fold towards the lining like this, and then I'll finish sewing. Before we slash or anything or snip, I'm going to flip so we can see it, to make sure that everything is good. So let me flip my neckline. Use the finger method. Put your thumb in the corner and flip. Use your thumb and index finger to flip. So I see that we have that. See our neckline area. Just use your hand to arrange it. Okay, that looks good to me. So I'll go back inside. Because I want to clip my neckline area so the lining will sit well on the inside of our dress. So we're back on the inside. So this is what my neckline looks like, right? It's like it's a sweetheart neckline, but it's also like a Mary Ann neckline. So I'm going to clip. So sorry, I'm not clipping. I'm going to snip or slash like this around this area, slash into this corner, slash into this corner. But then the curve area, I'm going to clip. So I'm clipping only the curved area. Then the remaining area, yes, I'm clipping the curved area. Then the remaining area, I'm snipping or slashing. So I'm just going to do this here, about 1 inch apart or half an inch apart on the regular sides. Snip the corner here. Then the curve, I'm going to clip. So what is clipping? Clipping is this. I showed you in my, was it the sewing terms video? So it's like cutting a triangle into the neckline. That's because this type of curve, when you have this type of curve on your garment, you need to clip it to help the garment lay properly. Clip this where the center front. I'm just going to slash that one, then clip the remaining. Okay, we've done that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip to the right side and understitch. I want to open this is my dress, this is my lining on this side. Open it this way. Make sure there's nothing underneath, because I want to slide this into my sewing machine now. So slide it into my sewing machine like this. So the lining on one side and your dress main bodies on the other side. And just move till you get to, we're going to the zip. So make sure there's nothing under, no seam, nothing that would obstruct you. So I see something under, I'll just make that, remove that and move. So I have my lining on one side and my dress on one side. So I want to understitch, like I mentioned. And understitching, I've said this a couple of times in my videos, um we're going to be facing the seam allowance towards our lining. In this case, we don't need to start from, we're not starting from the zipper. In fact, my, as you can see, I'm struggling to even get there. So we're going to start from wherever we can start from. Under stitch, start under stitching from there. Do that to the other side, to the center, other center back. So as far as your machine will let you go, that's where you start from. Remember, your seam allowance would be facing your lining. So make sure it is facing your lining. Make sure there is nothing underneath obstructing. And then we'll go. All right, so we're done sewing under stitching the neckline. The only thing I need to do is to go to the ironing board, press my neckline, and just press the entire dress. So the last thing we're going to do is our sleeves. We need to finish our sleeves. So what I'm going to do is that you're going to fold your sleeve, your lining like this, by 1/2 inch, and your main body same way, and you match them like this. Match it like this, where the lining is about, let's say, 1/4 or 1/8 away from the edge of the bodies, and then you pin. After doing, you do this round, and after doing this, you just make a slip stitch. We're going to slip stitch. That's if you don't want seam to be seen on the outside. If you use a sewing machine, you can just use a slip stitch. So slip stitch is, you take your needle. I don't have a needle here. You take your needle, take part of your lining, grab part of your garment or your main body, then you pull, and then you do that round. So you're grabbing part of the main bodies, but not poking through the outside. You make the stitches very tiny, and you go round your sleeve in order to finish your sleeve. So you do that on both sleeves. Press your garment, hem the bottom 1 inch or 1.5 hem allowance. So I'm going to fold that, double fold, and finish it as well. And we're done sewing our 6-piece dress. I hope you learned something new. You can try this, try sewing, following the step-by-step tutorial, and make your own beautiful dress. Thank you for watching. Happy sewing.